Hello everyone, it is Broker Blayne here, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the role of a real estate agent or broker or realtor in today's market. So many people, when they think of a realtor, they think of someone who finds a house for them. Clearly, that's what we're good for. So I want to talk about how the role of a real estate broker, agent, realtor has changed in the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever the case may be, and what we're responsible for now, what you should look for when you're looking for one, and kind of some misnomers about what's expected of us or what you should be expecting a successful realtor should do. So the first thing to do is to talk about what is a realtor, or you've heard me use real estate agent or real estate broker. So let's break this down a bit. I am in Portland, Oregon, or just outside Portland, Oregon, and every state makes laws regarding real estate specific to their own needs. And there are national laws that everyone has to abide by. And as a matter of fact, when you take your test to get your license to be a real estate salesperson, you take a state version of the test, or a state portion rather, and you take a national version. So there are guidelines you have to follow on both sides. So the state of Oregon, they have two designations. The first designation and the first thing you become when you first get your license is a real estate broker. And then the next level that you can take a test for after being in the business for 3 years is a principal broker. So that's unlike most other states. Most other states call the first level a real estate salesperson, and we refer to them as agents. And the second tier they call a broker, and they're the ones in charge of everyone in their office. So we call both brokers, just to make it nice and simple. So I am a real estate broker. I call myself an agent, and even a principal broker probably calls themselves an agent most of the time, just to alleviate any confusion and just use whatever the common vernacular is. Every office also has what's called a managing principal broker, and the managing principal broker is kind of like the boss that is in charge of making sure that I don't do anything illegal intentionally or through neglect or ignorance or whatever it may be. So that managing principal broker is putting their name on everything I am doing, and they are responsible for me. So hopefully that clears up what in the state of Oregon we refer to as an agent. So if someone says an agent, they could be a broker, they could be a principal broker, they could be the managing principal broker, but what it means is you have a license to practice buying and selling real estate on behalf of others. And realtor is a term, and that is the correct way to say it, realtor, not realtor, not realtor, not realtor. There's not an extra vowel in there. It's real, like real property, real estate, realtor. And that is a designation by the National Association of Realtors, and that is how they say it's the proper way to pronounce it. It's an association we belong to, and they have a certain set of ethics and standards that they hold all their members to. So the first step is become a licensed real estate salesperson, whether that's a broker, principal broker, whatever. Become that. Then you can join the National Association of Realtors. And in that, you will also join your state association of realtors and your local city or municipality, whatever that is. So for me, it's PMAR, or the Portland Metropolitan Association of Realtors. You basically are belonging to this group that says we're going to have an even higher code of ethics or standards than the legal requirement. So you could be a practicing real estate broker, agent, salesperson, and not belong to the National Association of Realtors or your local Association of Realtors or whatever the case may be. That's totally legal. That's okay. What happens is there is a multiple listing service, which we all have access to. And in order to have access to that, a lot of them require you to be a part of an association of realtors. So they want to know that you have this standard of ethics and morals that you are beholden to. And so a lot of them require that. So if you want access to this group that has all the listing information, then You have to be a part of that. So in essence, you have to become a realtor if you want to be successful in the business, but legally you're not required to. And these are independent entities that are not run by the government, but they work in conjunction with, and they lobby the government and talk about rules and laws and things like that. So they work in conjunction with, but they are not part of the government. So you have your real estate salesperson, in this state called a broker, and they may or may not belong to the Association of Realtors, both at a local level, state level, and national level. Realistically, call us whatever you want. That is who we are and what we are. So those are the terms. Hopefully that breaks that down a little bit for you, makes that a little simpler. Or maybe I've made it super confusing, in which case, oh well, let's move right along. So in years past, that multiple listing service I was talking about, or MLS, it was a book, and once a week it would get printed with all of the listings, and it goes in this book and it gets refreshed once a week, or maybe once a month in some places, or sometimes whatever, but no sooner than once a week. I haven't heard of. Maybe it's possible. If you know of one, you can let me know. Comments. At this time, definitely in the 70s, I could have been before that as well, you have this book, and only licensed professionals like us have access to this information. So we get these books and then we can show people around, we get access. Your only way to find the people selling the homes was through finding a real estate agent. There was no internet, there was no, I mean, you could drive by and see things, but you didn't know the neighborhoods or have GPS or things like that. You had to look at a good old-fashioned map, and that's not going to tell you any other information. So you had to find a real estate agent, a real estate professional, to help you locate a house you wanted to sell. You also had to find one to sell your house and market it to the public. This was how you would market your home. This was the only way to market it, pretty much. They could also send out mailers and things, postcards to people. Obviously, direct mail is a successful way to market. That's been happening in many industries for many years. So, but this multiple listing book was the holy grail of buying and selling homes. So the real estate professionals were the gatekeepers, and you had to find one in order to go through this process. So that is the main thing people found real estate professionals for, was to locate their home. And as an afterthought, they were used as a way to guide them through the process of the contract, inspections, things like that. Also, those processes have changed over time. So back in the 70s, you would have one or two sheets describing a real estate transaction. And now you have 11 pages on a contract and an agreement. Other things that have changed or are different, most of the states west of the Mississippi, not all, but most, and I know all along the West Coast, I know Idaho, I know Nevada, New Mexico, those states, we all use boilerplate forms for these transactions. They're not written up from scratch every time. So you fill in the pertinent information, like who the buyer and seller is, what the location of the property is, but there's a lot of filler information that is the same for everyone, and this is the contract part so that everything can be streamlined. So in that case, you don't need to really work with a lawyer on a residential sales agreement. But east of the Mississippi, write up their contracts from scratch. There's no standardized form for the state, and so you have a lawyer involved in every transaction. Now, if you live in one of these states and you go, no, we use boilerplate, I'm not talking about you. That's just the general trend, and that's kind of what they teach us in real estate school, is that, west of the Mississippi, they do it one way, and then east, they kind of do it another way. And then obviously, these things can change over time, so at the time of posting this video, maybe it's changed since you're watching. But that's the standard, and that's the generalization. In Oregon, it is very heavily incumbent upon the real estate professional to guide the person, buyer or seller, through the sale and through the contract, and guiding them through what each part means and letting them know, while we are not attorneys, we are experts in the real estate process. So real estate agents always did that, but contracts were a lot easier and simpler, and there weren't as many rules and exceptions and all these things. So there wasn't as much for us to do on that end. In the beginning, it was very heavy on driving people around, locating these properties, marketing these properties, and then the contract guidance was kind of secondary, or at least thought of as secondary. We still always had the responsibility to take care of people's money and be their fiduciary, but there wasn't as much to do compared to now. So as time has changed, technology has gotten better. laws have gotten more specific, and people have found different ways that people were taking advantage of people and things like that. Now you have inspection periods, you have contingencies, and all these sorts of things. And we'll go into what these things mean in different videos. So you have all these contingencies and whatnot. Well, now a lot more of our time is spent doing that, walking you through these processes and making sure you understand what it is that you're signing and what it is you're agreeing to, and when does this timeline start, and when does that timeline start, and when is my earnest money protected, when can I pull it out, when can I terminate the contract, all these types of things. We're guiding you through this. We have recommendations on people to inspect various things, or lenders to work with, or stagers to use, cleaners to use, whatever, these recommendations. My point is, the finding the home has become less of the priority than all the other stuff. And that is because of things that you know of, like Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com and all that. Those have made it a lot easier for the average consumer to find basic information about a home, to locate where they are. We have GPS, we can go drive by a neighborhood ourselves. So all of these things have made it so that the real estate agent, the real estate professional, is not the one going finding your property for you. If anything, you're probably finding it faster than we are because you have the same access. Zillow, Redfin, all those, they get the information from the multiple listing service, your local service, and those sites get updated very quickly. You can probably find the information on the house you want just as fast as I can find the information. The difference is the level of information I can find is deeper. There are certain things you can't see. A lot of people look at, oh, my real estate agent didn't locate any houses or didn't give me any options on houses. Where our true value comes in is once the home is located and you're putting in an offer and you're being guided through the process. That's where our value comes in. Or prior to listing your property, all the recommendations we can make on professionals to help you get your home ready, where we're going to market your home, on what mediums we're going to market your home. Those are the things where we're providing our value and providing the service. So that has shifted from what it used to be 30, 40, 50 years ago. Your real estate agent should be guiding you through the process, leading you through this process, and letting you know what your options are. They should be advising you. Real estate agents are advisors. And ultimately, we execute your wishes. Whatever your wish and your desire is, that's what we are doing. So it's not about saying yes to you all the time or no to you all the time. It's about saying, this is my professional opinion. Here's why. What do you think? And then you say to us, I want to do X. It doesn't matter if we thought X was a good idea or a bad idea. As long as we have advised you that this is what we think should happen, we've done our job. Think of it like the advisor to the king or queen or emperor or what have you. That advisor's job is to let them know, let the ruler know, this is what's going on. They may be an expert in various fields. The President of the United States has an economic advisor and a military advisor and all these people that are advising them on things that they are not experts in. Well, you're not an expert in real estate. Even if you're a hobbyist, you're not an expert in real estate. I am. I'm a professional expert in real estate, so I'm going to advise you. In the end, it's your money, it's your home, it's your transaction. You make the decisions, but you're employing our help to make sure you make wise, educated decisions. Hopefully that gives a broad overview of what a real estate professional's responsibilities, roles, jobs are during your time working with them. There is so much more to go over. I just went very top layer of what the job and role is, and there will definitely be more to come, and we'll dive into some of the terms I mentioned previously. So that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about the state of a real estate professional today, and hopefully that can help you make a decision on who to work with when you're ready to buy or sell your next home. I'm Broker Blayne. We'll talk to you next time.